So today we're going to be simplifying our fractions. But in order to do that, we first need to know how to find the factors of our numbers. So let's say we have a fraction 4 over 8, and we want to simplify that. We can't just go straight into simplification without first understanding that there are factors involved. Now, what do I mean by factors? Well, let's say we take 4, right? What two numbers that when you multiply them together, you get 4? That's going to be 2 times 2, and let's say 4 times 1. 2 times 2, 4 times 1. These are factors of 4. If you multiply them together, you get 4. So finding your factors is really just finding the two numbers that when you multiply them together, you get your original number. Look at 8. What factors do we have for 8? Well, you're going to have 8 times 1. You're going to have 4 times 2. So 4 times 2 and 8 times 1 are going to be your factors of 8. So when we want to simplify our fractions, no matter how complicated they look, you need to be thinking factors. What numbers, when we multiply them together, give us the number we're looking for? Find your factors. That's the first step. You want to start identifying your factors immediately. So now that we're thinking factors, let's jump into our next section where we're actually going to start simplifying this fraction using the factors that we found. Since we already found our factors in the previous section, I just rewrote them down here so we'll have them. But let's say we have this fraction here. We want to simplify it. 4 over 8. The very first thing I would say to do when trying to simplify this, especially as you're getting used to doing something like this, is to first rewrite this as 4 times 1 over 8 times 1. Notice these are going to be part of your factors here. But I'm doing this because we're always going to have a 1 in our fraction somewhere. And this is actually going to serve as a reminder later on. I'll show you what I mean when we get there, but this step right here helps us remember something in case things look a little different. Once again, it'll make more sense when we get there, but this is a nice first step to help you remember to do something later. So rewrite this as the top times 1, the bottom times 1. If you do that every time, I'm sure you're never going to forget that very last step that I'm going to show you. So we have this. Now that we've rewritten this fraction, we haven't changed anything because you're multiplying by 1. You've just changed how it looks. Let's find the factors of the bigger number first. Now, that's a strategy. We want to start with the bigger number first because we may not necessarily need to find factors of the smaller number depending on what we do. So let's find the factors of the bigger number first. And our bigger number is going to be our 8 that's in the denominator. So I'm going to rewrite the top as 4 times 1. And I'm going to find factors of 8 to plug in instead of using 8. Now we have these two. Now usually you can't really go wrong with this. You may give yourself more work to do, but there really is no wrong factors to choose. We already have 8 times 1 here, so let's just ignore that and use the other one. So we have 4 times 2. Now we already have a times 1, so just make sure you bring that along. You're just changing out this 8 for one of its factors. So we have 4 times 2 here. Now that we have rewritten this using one of its sets of factors, we want to see, do we have anything in common? Top and bottom. Do we have anything in common? You might say yes. Courtney, we have 1 in common in both the top and bottom. Don't worry about 1. Never worry about 1 when it comes to trying to find what's in common. Like I said, 1's always going to be there. There's always going to be a 1 in common. It doesn't help you. Any other number besides 1? Yes, there's 4. 4 is in common in the top and in the bottom. Now you want to just cross out anything that's in common. We cross out the 4's. Now we're going to multiply what's left. So in our numerator, in our top, what's left? We just have a 1. Remember, if you didn't put the 1 there, if you didn't start with this step, you may forget that there's always a 1 there. And I don't want you to see I've crossed out my 4, let me put a 0 by accident thinking you have nothing left. So this step, once again, sets you up as a reminder that if everything cancels out in either your numerator or your denominator, there's always a 1 that you can put there. So this reminder, bam, we used it. Now let's multiply our denominator. We have 2 times 1, which gives you 2. So 4 over 8, when we simplify it, we get 1 over 2. That's our answer. Notice we didn't have to worry about finding the factors of our numerator. We only need to find the factors of our denominator in this example, but that's not always going to be the case. Let's jump into another example in which we're going to have to do the same thing for both top and bottom. Here we have 6 over 8, our new fraction. And the very first thing we want to do is set up our reminder, just in case. You never know, and I really don't want you to ever end up with a 0 in the top or a 0 in the bottom because you forgot there's always a 1 there. So set yourself up with a good reminder. First step, doesn't hurt. Now we want to start with the bigger number. Is 6 or 8 bigger? 8 is going to be bigger. And I got rid of our previous factors. Let's write our 8 factors again. It's going to be 8 times 1 and 4 times 2. So we're going to rewrite the top and the bottom. We already did the 8 times 1 here, so let's start with 4 times 2. Now, let's cross out anything that we have in common outside of 1. Anything there? No. So we can't actually do anything with this, so let's move on to now finding our factors of the top. So 6, what factors do we have? 6 times 1, 3 times 2. So we already did the 6 times 1, so no need to rewrite that. Let's do 3 times 2. 3 times 2 times the same 1 over 4 times 2 times 1. Now do we have anything that we can cross out? Once again, excluding 1. We don't want to work with or cross out our 1s. Anything else? Yes, we have our 2's. They're in common. Let's remove the 2's and then multiply across. So when you multiply 3 times 1, you get 3. 4 times 1, you get 4. So the answer is going to be 3 over 4. You've simplified 6 over 8 into 3 over 4. Now you may notice what we're doing is just finding equivalent fractions that are smaller than our original fraction. That's all simplifying is. Finding an equivalent fraction that's smaller than our original fraction. Now, it's not just any fraction that's smaller. It has to be the smallest fraction that's equivalent to our original fraction. The first 2 examples just so happen to be that. But let's jump into another example where our first step may not be the simplest equivalent fraction. So here we have 12 over 16. And once again, our first step, let's set up our reminder. We always have that 1 there, so let's get that out the way. Now we're going to start with our bigger number, 16. 16 is going to be 16 times 1. We have 8 times 2. We have 4 times 4. And remember what I said last time. You can't really go wrong. There's no wrong one to choose. So I'm not going to do that one because we've already done that one. I'm going to just go to the next one on my list. Now, the worst that's going to happen is you give yourself a little bit more work, which will eventually taper out and you'll get your right answer regardless. As long as you do the math right, you'll get the right answer. So don't get hung up on trying to pick the right factors. Just pick a factor and then do your math. So I'm picking 8 times 2. So 8 times 2 times 1. Now, rewrite the top and you'll notice we still can't remove anything. So let's find some factors of 12. So we have 12 times 1, 6 times 2, 3 times 4. I've already done this. I'm going to do this one. 6 times 2 times 1. And rewrite this, 8 times 2 times 1. We have something in common, your 2's, which leaves you with 6 over 8 when you multiply everything across. Now, if you recall, in the previous question, our previous section, we simplified 6 over 8. So that lets you know this is, yes, an equivalent fraction, but it's not in its most simplest form. If you want to simplify it, typically you want to go to the simplest form, the smallest equivalent fraction that you have. So we're going to do the same thing. Let's take 6 over 8, throw it down here, and find some factors for it, right? Find some factors. Well, you can do the same thing, 6 times 1, 8 times 1. And if you recall, in our previous one, we did 8 was 4 times 2, and 6, let's put it down here, just in case I need the space. 6 equals 3 times 2. So it was 3 times 2 times 1, and 4 times 2 times 1. We crossed out the 2 in the previous section. We're doing the same thing again, and we end up with 3 over 4 once again as our answer. So just because you simplified once doesn't mean you've gotten the simplest form. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you learned something today, and if you did, be sure to leave a like and hit the subscribe button. See you again next week.